Hello, welcome to my WWE Royal Rumble 2022. 2022 seems weird saying it 2022. Don't know why I did that. Royal Rumble 2022 review. There was no predictions video and there were no match simulations over on EBEZAsimsgames. I apologise for that. The reason, very simply, is I was pretty sure the Royal Rumble was on Saturday night, and then I was recording some stuff for EWA, and I was talking to Taylor Osborne as we were doing that. He was co-commentating with me, and I mentioned that I needed to get it done because the Rumble's tonight, and he was like, "No, it's tomorrow." I was like, "No, it's in like 12 hours from now, or whatever it was, 9 hours from now." And he said, "No, it's not." So I googled it, and yeah, sure enough, it said it was on Sunday night. So I was like, "Oh, bonus! I've got an extra day to get that stuff done now." It turns out it was Saturday night. I don't know what Google was telling me. It lied to me. So, yeah, I didn't end up doing predictions. I didn't end up doing the match simulations. I apologise for that. I did do predictions throughout the show as I was watching it back, not live, because obviously I only found out the next morning when I saw someone talking about it like it had already happened. I was like, oh, it was last night. Whoops. So I didn't watch it live, so I didn't live tweet it or anything like that. But I did make lots of notes, and I did predictions as I went. And I know it's easy to go, oh yeah, sure you did. Trust me, you will believe that I was honest with my predictions because I didn't do so good. So, you know, you will see that they are legit predictions I made before the match happened. Anywho, let's just jump right into it. We kick things off with the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Seth Rollins. So I predicted Reigns to win, but then put not as confident as I was because I think it was when I mentioned to Taylor that it was on last night. He'd actually caught it because he's in Australia, so it was like morning for him. So it just came on, and he started watching it a little bit late, but still caught the whole show. And he said, "You won't get many predictions right because it was a bit all over the place." So I was like, okay. So and there was also a lot of emphasis on Reigns' title reign length, which sometimes means it's ending. I know they make the big deal anyway, but when they start really emphasising it, it can be a death knell. But I was still fairly confident because they'd also talked a lot about how Reigns wasn't able to beat Seth Rollins ever, which usually means they're going to. Think Edge Undertaker at Mania 24. They built that all around the fact that Undertaker wasn't able to beat Edge one-on-one in a title match, and then he did. So, yeah. So I predicted Reigns anyway. Rollins' Shield entrance was awesome. Pat McAfee mentioning Mox on commentary. I feel like WWE have mentioned Mox a couple of times, but not calling him Ambrose, calling him Mox is an interesting move, to say the least. I put potential appearance, surely not. Yeah, no, there wasn't. But it would have been pretty cool. Like, they want to fling that Forbidden Door wide open. Imagine Mox getting involved in Reigns versus Rollins. I doubt he'd want to, honestly. He had a pretty bad experience at WWE. I get that. But maybe as just a one-off, with a big payday, for a nostalgia pop, that could be pretty fun. But, yeah, it was weird seeing Seth in his Shield gear dancing around like current day Seth. It was really sort of jarring to me. It was like, this is so wrong. He did a powerbomb to Reigns through the table, which obviously the announcers bigged up as being like the Shield bomb. Obviously, one man can't do the Shield bomb, but it was still pretty cool. And then Michael Cole mentioned Ambrose by name, not Mox. So I feel like it was just Pat McAfee, doing Pat McAfee things. He doesn't care if he gets fired. He's got millions. He's just having fun until he eventually gets fired for doing something wrong enough. So I feel like that was just what that was more than anything. And then there was a bit in the match where Seth hit a buckle bomb. They were busting out all of the old school stuff, like for Seth especially. Then into the stomp, and then Reigns kicked out at 2. I genuinely at that point thought, oh, I did get it wrong. Wow, they are going with Seth. But good kick out, good false finish. Then Reigns started to dominate the match. He hit a spear on the outside, in front of the announce table, or what's left of the announce table at that point. Then he rolled Seth inside and went for another spear, but Seth countered it into a pedigree. He countered it into jumping and landing on the back of Reigns' head because, there was no arm hook. Obviously, it'd be impossible to hook the arms and then let go of them for a safe landing. I get that, but it's generous to call it a pedigree. But it was a cool spot. We've seen it before, but it was still a cool spot. Got a 2 count. Then Reigns hit another spear, and then Rollins was very sentient for someone who'd just taken the Universal Champion for the last 516 days finisher. He offered a fist bump and was laughing. So then Reigns got angry, locked in the guillotine. And then the end was weird because the referee went to check Rollins' arm and dropped it onto the bottom rope. So the referee essentially gave Rollins a rope break, then insisted that Reigns break up the submission. Even though Rollins was unconscious, his arm dropped limp onto the rope. So, yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. But anyway, Reigns refused to break, went a bit crazy. Rollins really got to him. You know, that was the story being told, really, was Rollins getting under his skin, getting inside his head. That obviously built into like a rematch between these two, probably with some sort of stipulation, no DQ or what have you, you know, falls count anywhere, cage, whatever, you know, do whatever, really. I figure they're going to do a rematch with a stipulation. So Reigns got disqualified for not letting go of the guillotine after the 5 count, after the referee broke the submission for Rollins, which was weird. So I'm technically 0 for 1 in predictions because I predicted Reigns to win and he lost but by DQ. So I got the right champion. You know, I predicted the right person leaving with the belt, but I got the wrong person winning the match. So I'm calling it 0 for 1. I'm not being too generous to myself. I feel like I'm being very fair. And I put afterwards it was actually a really good match and the finish made sense. Like I say, with all the getting under Reigns' skin that Rollins has been doing, Reigns acted it out perfectly. When he was walking to the back, he was talking to himself, you know, being frustrated and what have you. It was, really good. And I think the finish made sense, especially with the fact that they're probably going to a rematch. You know, there's time to fill between the Rumble and WrestleMania, and filling it with a Rollins Reigns feud is hardly be showing it, is it? That's a pretty good feud. So I'm all in favour of that. The crowd booed, and I don't think they were booing Reigns because heel work. I think they were booing the decision to have a non-finish. Sometimes a non-finish works, honestly. You know, they sometimes are the correct decision. After the match, Rollins got up and Reigns hit him in the back with a chair, like Rollins hit Reigns all those years ago when they split up the Shield. It was a good little throwback, that. Same camera angle to shoot it and everything, which was very nice. WWE do those touches really nicely. Then he hit him quite a few more times with the chair. I noticed Reigns had a lovely cut / developing bruise under his left eye. It caught somewhat good. I don't know exactly what did that, but something caught him snug. Then Reigns carried on attacking with the chair after I noticed that. And I thought it was a great opener to the show. I understand now why that went on first. Get the DQ finish out of the way. Get the goodwill of the fans back is the theory, you know, throughout the show. You can't finish with that or even put it near the end because you're probably not going to do enough things that get back that goodwill. I put rematch in Saudi ? They could well do that rematch in Saudi. That seems like a big money match. You know, and they seem to always be offering big money matches to the Saudis as part of the deal. You know, they're paying a lot of money, so they are putting, you know, we've had Goldberg and The Fiend, we've had Brock and Roman over there. Like, we've had some pretty, Goldberg Taker was over there, that tag match with the Brothers in Instruction and DX. It's big names, whether it was good or not is sort of by the by. They're putting big matches on over there. I think the Saudis are kind of getting privy now to the fact that maybe requesting Undertaker, requesting Shawn Michaels, requesting Kane isn't the best idea, but they're now probably just going to get really good matches from the current crop, and a couple of legend appearances is probably what I expect from the Elimination Chamber show. Then they had ad breaks. I hate that, because whether you're paying for the network or you're paying for Peacock or you've somehow still old school paid for the pay-per-view, I'm not sure if that's even still an option, but it's a paid for show. And it's got 2 sponsors as well, DoorDash and someone else. Oh, I can't remember who. Doesn't matter. They don't need ad breaks in there as well. You know, it's like you can farm money too much, WWE, like, reel it in a bit. I noticed Corey Graves at this point was in dress shoes and proper pants, so I put maybe no Rumble spot for him, because there's that rumour that he's been cleared to compete, and there was then people started being like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if he was in the Rumble? But then I put, there's still time for him to change, like to get changed, because they swap commentary teams, don't they? So he could get changed in one of those changeovers. But just because there was no announce table when it cut to the new commentators, the Raw commentators, I noticed that it wasn't dressed to compete, at least yet. Up next was the Women's Royal Rumble. Sasha came out number 1, and I legit popped a little bit because I think she's been out for a few weeks, hasn't she? But apparently they spoiled it the night before on SmackDown. I'm not up to date with the weekly show at the moment, so I didn't see that. But God, what is their deal with spoiling all the big surprises? I know they didn't spoil all the big surprises, but like they could have afforded to have Sasha be a surprise. It would have been a really good part for her coming out number 1 when she wasn't announced for the Rumble. Melina was number 2. It was a fun return, I guess. Like, you know, the thing is with Women's Rumble nostalgia things is some of these women that are coming back come from the era that we now frown upon as not being very good, and I would say Melina still fits into that category. Now she's probably, like, I've not seen a lot of her stuff since she left WWE. She's probably improved since then. To stay relevant in professional wrestling as a woman, like in the midst of all this women's revolution, you do need to have improved in ring, I would say. Whether you're in WWE, AEW, Impact, the Indies, wherever, you know. I mean, Joshi Feds in Japan have been on the ball for a long time. But wherever you are, you need to now have that in ring. So I was expecting her to be better than I remember her being. But I also didn't expect her to last too long. She still did the entrance. Just a much more PG version because she had, you know, pants on. So yeah, we're moving up, keeping the character but moving away from the camera angle and the wearing a skirt and very small underwear, which, you know, is fine by me. Oh, I hadn't made a prediction at this point, so I went with it being a surprise return because as far as I knew, neither of these had been announced. Bayley or Asuka. I went with Bayley as my official prediction, but put Asuka in brackets as another potential. I'd have allowed myself half a mark if Asuka would have won for that, to be honest. Melina was really emotional, by the way, when this match kicked off. I don't think she was expecting the level of crowd reaction she got, and it was funny because she was like, you could tell she was trying to maintain character and like square up to Sasha, but she was just genuinely like overwhelmed. And then, yeah, like I said, I didn't expect it to last long. She got eliminated before entrant number 3 came in, so Sasha got rid of Melina, and then Sasha did the splits, not the box splits that Melina does in her entrance, the front back splits, which from personal experience I would say are easier but still impressive, and it was a fun little touch for her to like do the splits, to be like, hey, look what I can do what you do, get out, you know. That was pretty fun. Anyway, number 3 was Tamina. Great. I just don't care about Tamina at all. Apologies to any hardcore Tamina fans. I just don't care. I just don't think she's very good. I don't think she's ever been very good. I don't think she's getting any better. I don't think she's that interesting, even as you know, the giant in the match. She's just not that. I wouldn't even say she's that imposing. I don't know. I just don't get it, I guess. But Sasha kept her outside the ring. As she tried to get into the ring, Sasha kicked her back out and then hit a Meteora off the apron to the outside. Good touch when you're trying to sell how dangerous a giant is in a battle royal type situation. Don't even let her get in the ring. Good move. Number 4 was Kelly. Speaking of comebacks from not the golden era of women's wrestling, here's Kelly. the sort of the face of the worst period of women's wrestling in WWE history. So yeah, great she was back. It's dead funny how people like forget how bad some people were, and I'm not saying this like it was her fault. Like, they weren't encouraged to be good; they were just encouraged to be good looking. Like, so I'm not saying that like it's Kelly's fault. I'm not trying to have a go at Kelly as such. But like, it's funny now. People are like, "Oh my god, yeah, Kelly's gonna come back," and so's Melina, and it's like, but why are you excited? They weren't that good. Yeah, you know. But hey ho, I guess nostalgia's a hell of a drug. Yeah, I noticed immediately she went to run the ropes and it just looked like someone in wrestling school reaching out for the ropes and slowing right down to make sure she hit it with the arm out. Like, it didn't look like someone comfortable in the ring. And I know she's had time off, but surely that bit of it's kind of like riding a bike. You don't forget the absolute basics unless you could just never do them. She's got some more like gymnastics that she can do. She did like a handspring into a backflip into something. You know, she does some of that stuff nicely, but that's not wrestling, that's gymnastics. and I don't mean to sound like Jim Cornette here, I think there's a place for that stuff, but I'd also like you to be able to run the ropes, like, as well, you know, like, as like a minimum. So I found Kelly's elimination very amusing from the note I made her. So she had like a tarantula-esque Poison Rana headlock thing on Sasha Banks, and what I mean by that was she had like her legs locked around her like she was going to Poison Rana her, but she was leaning over the top rope and had her hands on the apron on the outside, so she was using it as like a neck lock, using her legs. If you didn't see it, you're going to find it hard to picture it based on my description. But yeah, she did that. But then Sasha countered by bouncing her legs off the ropes, off the top rope, which would have been enough to send her to the outside. She was falling to the outside anyway. She was off balance, doing a handstand on a very narrow ring apron. She was going. But then Sasha just turned around and, like, full on, like, kicked her in the back. Like, and hoofed her off the apron. And it just tickled me. I don't know if there's some beef there, but it looked like there was. Wow, I believed it. Up next was Aaliyah, who just like fairly new, recently just got the fastest pin in wrestling WWE history over Natalya, because that's how you treat your long-standing veterans. I did make a comment that it seemed like the entrants were coming thick and fast, like that. It didn't seem like there was much of a timer between them at all. Like, it was just like, get the person out there, get them to do their stuff, get the next person out there. You know, like, it didn't seem like it was timed so much as done by spot, if you like. It seemed like it was being rushed. Anyway, speaking of that, not much happened. Aaliyah came in and, you know, did like they usually do. They run in, they do some moves to multiple people, then eventually someone hits them from behind, and the match goes back to everyone cuddling in the corners, trying desperately to throw each other over the top rope, like it suddenly became the hardest thing in the world. Number 6 was Liv Morgan, and I just put in all caps, sprint. She was powering at that ring. She was going for it. Like, oh my god. I put here unpopular opinion, and then I put in brackets based on the crowd reactions, because Liv is over as hell with the live audience, and pretty much every time I've seen her. But I just don't think she's quite ready for the main event yet. I really like Liv. I think she's got a lot of potential. She's just not snappy. She's not smooth. She's not crisp, I think is the word I want. Like the top of the card, like the Charlotte Flairs, the Sasha Bankses, the Baileys, the Becky Lynches, the Bianca Belair's there, I would say. Rhea Ripley's there. Like, where everything just looks... Not everything looks like, because everyone's going to be in the comments, oh, remember this botch, remember this thing that went wrong. But, you know what I mean? Just the general feel is, this person's got it. Like, they've got this nailed now. I think Liv is, like, a step off that. She's not miles off. Like, I think she'll get there, but I just don't think she's quite there yet. I put lots look very unfluid. I'm glad I thought of the word crisp, because that's better than unfluid, isn't it? But like I've said, she's over though. You know, like, I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know in the comments. Number 7 was Queen Zelina. She saved Tamina from elimination, just as commentary were talking about her being a smart competitor, which I thought, that's interesting, because she clearly doesn't get the rules. She then eliminated Sasha, which did surprise me. Tamina actually put Sasha on the apron, and then Zelina, like, hoofed her off. But, and I genuinely thought Sasha Banks was going to be like the Iron Woman of this match, like go near enough bell to bell, be like Final 4 or maybe at least Final 6 or something. But then there was sort of hints of a Tamina and Zelina alliance during the match, so maybe Zelina is smart. Maybe I was being dumb, thinking that was a dumb decision to save Tamina. But at the end of the day, you can have that alliance all you want, but if you get to Final 2, how are you going to eliminate her? You know, like, you got to think of these things, Zelina. Come on, kayfabe. Number 8, Bianca Bella, who I put was over. She got a hell of a pop when her music hit. She's made it. The only thing I mentioned before the next entrant was that she got Zelina into... She likes to do that suplex where they've got the legs wrapped around her waist and she just deadlifts them up. She did that. Zelina fought out of it and wrapped her legs back around her, and then she lifted her up again, so she like double deadlifted Zelina, which I know Zelina's tiny by wrestler standards, but it's still a grown person, so still very impressive at the end of the day. Number 9 was Dana Brooke. There was a moment, talking of people not being the most fluid, I think Dana is in that category where she's still not quite got it perfectly. So she was trying to eliminate, in brackets, inverted commas, because it wasn't very convincing that she was trying to eliminate Zelina. But she was like checking over her shoulder to make sure Tamina was coming in for the spot to break it up. And like, Tamina, as much as I'm not a big fan, Tamina's been there for like 15 years or something at this point. Like, she's probably going to be in position for the next spot. And even if she's not, that's on her. And you can just keep jostling with Zelina. It's not like there's a time limit on it. You don't need to check for her. And it's not like it had been ages and she was late to the spot. It was like almost as soon as she started doing it, Dana was checking for Tamina, but then didn't react when Tamina started moving towards her to defend herself. She then started focusing on Zelina, so she was obviously just checking for her for the spot. Just, you gotta trust the others in the match to do their thing when they need to do it. You know, like, that's just a basic, I would say. Michelle McCool was number 10. She kicked Dana out. Reggie caught Dana though. It would throw back to when Reggie caught Carmella. Was that last year? Or was that the year before? I'm not sure. I noticed Michelle McCool did a Styles Clash, or whatever she used to call it. But AJ's barely ever allowed to do a Styles Clash these days. Like, how's Michelle McCool allowed to, but AJ isn't? Like, Michelle McCool is not in that category of the women's legends who are pants in the ring. But she's also not AJ Styles in the ring. You know, like, it just... Anyway, eventually Michelle McCool eliminated Dana, so that whole catch spot was pointless. Because in the time between number 10 and number 11 coming out, she eliminated her, Reggie Carter put her back in, and she eliminated her again. So kind of pointless. I guess fun callback, but a bit pointless. Just made her look worse in a way, because she got eliminated twice in quick succession. You know, like, just makes her look worse. It doesn't help anyone, really. Cool spot, though, I guess. Number 11 was Sonya Deville, who the commentators immediately jumped on, like, oh, abusing her power, giving herself a spot in the Rumble. Surely if she was doing that, she'd have given herself number 30. Like, you know, come on. But anyway, she joined commentary. She still got a jacket on, which the whole gimmick has been, you can't touch me while I've got my jacket on. Yada, yada, yada. Commentary asked Sonya who she likes, you know, she fancies to win the Rumble, and she picked Liv Morgan and Bianca, which was weird for two reasons. One, she picked two baby faces when she's clearly a heel. But two, she's in the match. Why didn't she pick herself? Why didn't she do the whole, I don't think anyone else is going to win this. This is mine. I'm winning it. I'm going on to WrestleMania. Like, it just seemed weird for her not to talk smack there. Anyway, Natalia came out number 12. Deville's still on the commentary table, by the way, at this point. Like, still on commentary. Tamina put Bianca on the apron, like, lifted her over the top rope. Then Natalia... Oh no, she didn't have her on the apron, she had her like on the top rope. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the spot exactly. Natalia came and did like the double elimination thing where you tip the eliminator over the top rope and it takes the eliminatee with them. Except Bianca held on, so Natalia eliminated Tamina, Bianca managed to hold on and get back into the ring. Which was a fun variant on that spot. Speaking of people from a bygone era that weren't and probably aren't still very good, Cameron. Now, I was not happy to see Cameron, but I immediately saw what they were doing with advancing the Sonya Deville Naomi storyline, so I'm kind of okay with it because she wasn't in for very long. She didn't do much, so she didn't risk hurting anyone or herself. Like, I'm fine with it. So Cameron, the former Funkadactyl, former tag team partner of Naomi, they debuted together as Brodus Clay's Funkadactyls, if you remember. It tickled me. Sonya Deville didn't know who Cameron was on commentary. I mean, obviously she's playing a character, but it just tickled me that was her reaction, was she didn't know that she was a friend of Naomi's. And then Sonya was like, oh, so Naomi would be upset if she got eliminated, her? And then just took her jacket off, entered the ring and chucked Cameron out. By the way, if you have that much power in your jacket that no one can touch you while you're wearing it, go into the match wearing it. Just go in and say, hi, you can't touch me, I'm going to throw you all out now. Stupid. Anyway, I actually put, here comes Naomi, and then, number 14, Naomi, and I put, yep, Angie Naomi came out, but then didn't go straight for Sonya Deville. Checked on Cameron first to make sure she was okay being eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Like you know, like why is everyone not being checked on, being thrown over the top rope if it's that severe? But anyway, yeah, she gets in. She eliminates Sonya. She did a rubbish springboard stunner thing to Natalia. I don't know if it was Natalia that didn't base properly for it. She seemed to sort of crumble under the weight, or if Naomi pushed off the ropes too hard. But it was basically she grabbed her in a stunner, jumped up, pushed off the ropes with her feet, and then they both just fell over. Essentially. But it was supposed to look like a stunner. for two that have been around that long, it should have been a lot better, but yeah, nitpicking. Carmella came out at 15. Does she have new music, or did I just not recognise it? Or was it like just because there was a lack of crowd reaction, it sounded different? Because Carmella got crickets. She got no reaction. Even commentary was slow to react though, which was what made me think it might be new music, because they were even a bit like, oh, it's Carmella, kind of thing. Carmella walked down to the ringside area very slowly and hung around outside the ring getting a mask put on and yada yada yada. Then number 16, Rhea Ripley comes down, spots Carmella faffing about with a mask, throws her into the ring, and then Zelina, Carmella and Natalya all ganged up on Rhea Ripley. I don't know what happened to Natalya. I guess she got bored, wandered off and started fighting someone else. But then Rhea simultaneously lifted Carmella and Zelina over the top rope and then just eliminates them both. And then I put Nikki question mark because I was sort of expecting Nikki ASH as the next entrant because everyone was kind of down and Rhea was just in the middle of the ring awaiting the next person almost. So I was like, it's going to be Nikki, isn't it? But no, it's Charlotte Flair, which was fun because that's a callback to the fact that they've faced off a couple of times now, Rhea and Charlotte, so they got a little bit of a rivalry. So that was fun to call back to that and not do the immediate obvious thing straight away. I did wonder about this stipulation with Charlotte. Why does she get to, if she wins, why does she get to choose her challenger? You earn a shot at a title at WrestleMania, I believe, is how the Royal Rumble's supposed to work. So despite the fact she's SmackDown Women's Champion, she should have just earned a shot at the Raw Women's Championship if she won the Rumble, surely. Like, the chance to be a double champion. Like, rather than getting to choose who you defend your title against. Like, why didn't she go for that? Like, she's egotistical and what have you, but she's like, oh, I just want to choose my own opponent. No, Charlotte should want both belts. Surely. Anyway, she eliminated Aaliyah, who was apparently in the match for 23 minutes. And I didn't see much interaction between her and Natalya, considering they've got a TV rivalry at the moment. Like, you'd expect, especially Natalya, to make a beeline for Aaliyah after pinning her in 3.1 whatever seconds. Then Sonya Deville helped Charlotte eliminate Naomi. Naomi went... So, Sonya's been eliminated at this point, remember, but Charlotte eliminated Naomi, but she did like a... She went out hands first and put her hands down on the floor outside and her feet were still on the apron. So obviously she was going to go for the handstand spot and walk around and on the steps and back into the ring. But yeah, Sonya just grabbed her arms and pulled them out from under her, so she just fell face first onto the mats on the outside. It was quite a good spot, to be fair. It was quite a good like little detail, little moment. So once again, Sonya Deville screws Naomi. She's still not given a reason, which just sort of looks awkward when it's this white person keeps screwing over this black person and won't give a reason why she doesn't like her. I just feel like super awkward. But anyway, up next, Right to Censor's music hit. So I was like, they're doing Right to Censor rivalry? That's a weird choice. But anyway, she came out, she had a microphone, she cut a promo all the way down to the ring, talking about lost little girls and how they should be at home looking after the men, not wrestling. It's like, you're literally wrestling right now, whatever. But she cut a promo whilst being eliminated by Rhea Ripley. Like, Rhea Ripley picked her up and put her outside the ring and then knocked her off, and she was still talking into the microphone, which, as I said, was good on paper, but in my opinion it was a bit of a swing and a miss. The promo wasn't strong enough for me. It was a bit... She sort of said her line on the way down to the ring and then was like, oh, that's all I had, but I have to keep talking. So she just kind of kept repeating the same thing, kind of in slightly different wording. It was a bit rubbish. I don't know if they just didn't give her a script and she couldn't improvise well enough, or if the script was just garbage. I don't know, but either way, it was... I could see how it was a good idea on paper when someone pitched it. I could see how they went, yes, that's cool. Getting someone eliminated whilst talking into a microphone, we've not done that before. But, yeah, no, it wasn't very good. Number 19 was Brie Bella, who didn't seem to have the Brie mode music. That wasn't her regular, most well-known music, was it? She came into the ring and led some yes chants. Now, I'm not being funny, that felt really disrespectful, because like Bryan Danielson has made a point of not leading yes chants in AEW out of respect for WWE and it being their creation. Their creation or not, Daniel Bryan made the yes chants work. He made that over. Like, because of who he was and how much the fans wanted to be behind him. If they'd have done the thing that they did with Daniel Bryan, where he cashed in Money in the Bank and started doing the yes thing as a heel and then eventually transitioned it to a face, with Brie Bella, it would have flopped. So WWE should also have the respect And I know it's his wife, so obviously she got his go-ahead and he's fine with it. But it just feels like both sides should just leave the yes thing. Like, fans are going to do it at both sets of shows, but just don't have anyone encourage it on either side is probably fine. You know, like just a ceasefire on yes chants. Like, I'd just be fine with that stopping now. That moment has gone. That character has gone. You know, it's like the Steve Austin what chants. They were fun as long as Steve Austin was there. And then it was like, okay, probably a bit much now. You know? Anyway, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Bella did a double suplex on Charlotte that they just decided to hold her up for ages, which was kind of fun. Then they put her on the apron, but obviously didn't eliminate her. Then, number 20, Hardcore Country hit, and TNA, Impact Wrestling, Mickie James came out with the Impact Knockouts title. Like, I knew Mickie James was going to be in the Rumble. I knew they'd mentioned her being the Impact Champion. But I still expected her WWE music and probably WWE attire, not to have the belt. But I was really surprised as to how all in on it they went. You know, like allowing her to use the music, the attire, the belt. Like, I was just really surprised by that. It shows how little they see Impact as competition. Is the honest truth there. Michelle McCool kicked Mickie James and threw her into the ring. And then Mickie James fought back and Hurricane Rana Michelle McCool out, so that was her eliminated. Number 21 was Alicia Fox, who seemed... Did she have sleeves? How long has Alicia Fox had sleeve tattoos for? Like, I feel like she had sleeves. Or she had, like, lacy sleeves on, but it looked like tattooing to me. Anyway, she did some kicks and stuff, and then did a rubbish double hair pull thing with Natalya. This wasn't a great showing for Natalya, to be honest. And I rate Natalya. Like, I think she's pretty damn good. But there was a few moments in this where I was like, oh, that was pants. And it was Natalya pretty much every time. And again, throwback to what I said about, you know, sometimes people weren't that great, but now there's nostalgia for them. Alicia Fox is there for me as well. Anyway, not much to say about that. Out next was Nikki Ash. Who says that? So Rhea Ripley heard her music and like stood in the ring ready to confront her, looking at the entrance ramp, and I was like, uh-oh, this isn't going to go as planned, is it? So Nikki ASH turned up from like behind the commentary table, like she came through the crowd, tried to eliminate Rhea, and then escaped under the bottom rope. And then Rhea was focused on Nikki ASH again, and Charlotte hit Rhea from behind, and that was basically the excitement of Nikki coming out. Summer Rae was number 23, added to the list of people that weren't that great, but now there's massive nostalgia for them. There was a funny moment though where commentary said the legends continue, and wasn't it Summer Rae who had that beef with the dude on Twitter because she was referred to as a legend, and they were like, she's hardly a legend, it's just Summer Rae, and then it was just funny, like, I think she laid into him a bit and it was pretty funny. I feel like commentary specifically mentioning the word legends when Summer Rae came out was like a bit of a swipe at that, which I thought was pretty funny. Like, fair play. They talked about Natalya and Summer Rae always having issues. I don't remember a feud between them. But, you know, maybe I've just blocked that out of my mind, you know, anything that Summer Rae did. Then they were slapping each other, because yay divas. And then Charlotte just absolutely wiped out Summer Rae, and then Natalya eliminated her. Like, just absolutely cleaned her out, which was pretty funny. Then number 24 was Nikki Bella, and I put, hell yeah, best Bella. Because, yeah, she's significantly better than Brie. Like, let's be honest. Like, this both started out pretty rubbish, but Nikki actually, like, really improved in-ring and character-wise and what have you. So, yeah, I was all for Nikki Bella coming out, like, save us from the only Bella representative being Brie. So, Bianca Bella did, like, a low bridge, you know, where they pull the top rope down and someone runs at them and they just fall over the top rope to Alicia Fox. But Alicia Fox stayed on the apron. Both Bellas, I think, took out Bianca or something. But there's like a Team Bella reunion, because you remember when like all like Becky Lynch and Paige and Charlotte and Sasha Banks were all like in teams, and Tamina and Naomi. Well, there was also Team Bella in that feud, if you remember, and it was the Bella Twins and Alicia Fox. So they did like a fist bump. Alicia was still on the apron and like stood up on the ropes, reached over to fist bump, and then Nikki just like clocked her and eliminated her. That was pretty fun. Sarah Logan was number 25. She looked awesome. She looked like fierce. Like, really, really good look. Like, she should have wrestled looking more like that. She, you know, when she was actually like active, it was a really good, like. It was sort of Viking-y without being too on the nose. With obviously her husband being one of the Viking raiders. It was a good blend of not being too on the nose about it. She helped Liv Morgan with the Bellas. You know, they did the Riot Squad reunion thing. But then the Bellas interrupted the reunion and eliminated Logan and then Morgan because, you know, they can only be babyfaces for so long. So they're back to the heels. The Bellas were best as heels anyway, so let's be honest. 26, Lita. The Bellas were like, yeah, we got this, we can deal with Lita. Nope, no, they did not got this. Lita eliminated Mickie James with a DDT. It was weird. She like threw Mickie James. Mickie James went over the top rope and then went to come back into the ring between the middle and bottom rope, and then Lita like DDT'd her, so her face hit the ring inside the ring, and then she somehow bounced out of the ring. It was a weird looking elimination, and it was questionable as well, because I'd say more of Mickie James was back in the ring than was still outside when the DDT was hit. So was she not back in? Did she not fall through the ropes? It was a weird elimination anyway. And then she had a face-off with Charlotte Flair, because they've just had issues on SmackDown, haven't they, recently? Number 27 was Mighty Molly, who got sideswiped by Nikki ASH on her entrance. It was a really good spot, this, because as soon as Mighty Molly's music hit, instead of just Molly Holly, I was like, oh, they're going to do something with Nikki. And then, as she was going down to the ring, I was like, Nikki's still in this, right? Because I couldn't see it. And then Mighty Molly gets to, like, the end of the entranceway where it, you know, it opens up to the ringside area. And Nikki's just hiding behind the barricade and just sideswipes her with, like, a pounce. It was really good. And then Nikki eliminated Molly, basically chucked her in the ring and chucked her back out. It was a pretty fun moment. Number 28, this was the actual surprise of the Rumble. Ronda Rousey. I put well then. And then I put that's why you spoiled the other surprises, because if you don't, if you have like Mickie James show up in her Impact attire with the Impact Knockouts Championship as a surprise, maybe people don't react quite as much when Ronda Rousey comes out. Say ditto Lita, ditto Sasha Banks coming back. You know, like they did it so they didn't water down the Rousey return, didn't they? Let's be honest. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think over the course of a Royal Rumble, there's room for maybe 2 or 3 of those pops, like the Sasha one being number 1 and Ronda being number 28 would not have interfered with each other, for example. But I understand why they did it now. You know, at least there was a reason why they did the weird thing. And I thought I'd like to change my prediction. Obviously, I didn't. I'm sticking with Bayley, but yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, I felt like the King during the Attitude Era, where like as soon as his favourite gets eliminated, he'd be like, that's my new guy. No, that's my new guy. And then Kane comes out, he's like, that's who I'm picking. And then someone else big comes out, Big Show, and he's like, that's who I'm picking. Like I felt like I was doing that. Anyway, Ronda Rousey like put like a double guillotine on Nikki ASH and Nikki Bella, a double Nikki guillotine. And then Ronda eliminated Nikki ASH. Then Brie came over to try and like save Nikki Bella. But Ronda moved, and then Brie just looked at Nikki and then just knocked her off the apron deliberately, which I get, it's like a running gag now that Brie keeps eliminating Nikki. But how dumb do you have to be to eliminate your sister, your twin sister, who you've been working with all match, when Ronda Rousey is stood right there, and leave yourself one-on-one with Ronda Rousey? That's just dumb. That's just so dumb. That's the thing, people need to not look dumb when they're doing these things. Like, some of them are so illogical, they just look stupid. Number 29 was Shotzi. I put she takes out Bianca via Charlotte, ... I don't mean she eliminated them. She just, you know, she came in and did the cleaning house thing, taking people down left and right. And then Ronda Rousey eliminates Brie Bella, predictably. Number 30 was Shayna Basler. So I put no Bayley, no Asuka, damn. But to be fair, once Ronda had been a big surprise and been at number 28, I kind of wasn't expecting Bayley or Asuka, because why waste their return on a match they're clearly not winning at this point? Anyway, Ronda and Shayna teamed up, which was fun, but then they squared off, but then they didn't get to like actually do anything because Charlotte interrupted. Shotzi, for some reason, interrupted Ronda eliminating Natalya, so then Ronda just eliminated Shotzi, and then Natalya. But it might have been Bianca that eliminated Natalya, I don't know, I kind of glanced away and they were both sort of stood there when Natalya got eliminated, I don't know. Anyway, Natalya just came back in, and then Ronda just eliminated her on the other side of the ring, so... You know what I said before about people looking dumb getting eliminated twice? It doesn't help. Yeah, not a good showing for Natalya, honestly, this Rumble. Like, botched spots, bad booking, just not a good Rumble for Natalya, in my opinion. Lita was still in at this point, hit a twist of fate on Charlotte. Then she went up top, and I was like, oh no, don't moonsault, because Lita's moonsault was always quite low. And the last one she did, like was it last year or the year before? I'm not sure which Rumble it was so low. I thought she was going to like break her neck, and I was like, I don't want to watch someone break the neck. Luckily, Rhea Ripley interrupted, and then Charlotte eliminated her. So I think they've learned that Lita maybe shouldn't be throwing moonsaults about at this point. Like, she's just not quite as athletic as she used to be, and she used to be dangerously close to hitting the mat with her forehead a lot of times. So yeah, probably for the best. I put a Rhea triangle choke over the top rope on Rhea. I assumed that was supposed to be Ronda put a triangle choke on Rhea. Not sure how I managed to type that and not even notice. And then Charlotte Flair eliminated Rhea Ripley. So the final four was Bianca Bella, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, and Shayna Basler. So Bianca did like a KOD to Shayna over by the ropes, obviously with the idea of like reverse AAing her over the top rope. But then Charlotte came over and just tipped them both over and eliminated them. So then we're left with Charlotte and Ronda. It was very quick. By the way, Bianca was in for 47 minutes, which is a pretty good showing. And I'm glad they didn't make her win again, because I talked about this on stream today, twitch.tv/EBEZA, about how they can do too much for Bianca. She could get John Cena or Roman Reigns, or even Hulk Hogan. You could lineage it back to that, the whole being over pushed to the point where the fans eventually turn on them a bit. Like, you could definitely say, like, that's a risk. If she'd have won back-to-back Rumbles, that could have been the beginning of the end for Bianca being popular. So I'm glad they didn't. She didn't need it. She doesn't need it. She's still mega over. She does not need it. She could still be in the other title match easily. But anyway, so yeah, it was Charlotte versus Ronda, final two. I was a fan of the Ronda Rousey look that she came out. It's very different to how she'd wrestled last time. But basically, Charlotte rushed at Ronda and Ronda tipped her out. It was super quick. It was a very quick final four, honestly. Seemed almost rushed. A lot of this Rumble seemed rushed. But it was still good. They still got a load of stuff in. They got some back references, even to stuff that I don't remember. Overall, the Women's Rumble was a very good Rumble, in my opinion. I enjoyed it. I was 0 for 2 on predictions, but technically I predicted a surprise return to win. But I'm still giving myself 0 out of 2. Like, I'm not giving myself half a mark for that. It'd be ridiculous. But yeah, I've sort of got the right idea with the first 2 matches, but not quite the execution. So there we go. And I did notice that this leaves Ronda with the choice of Charlotte or Becky at Mania, assuming Becky keeps the title, because obviously that match hasn't happened yet in my mind at this point. But, and there's still a lot of twists and turns on the road to WrestleMania, isn't there? They could do a rematch yet with the 2 of them, with triple threat, but that would be ridiculous. But yeah, I feel like having Ronda Rousey have the choice of the 2 is fun, considering their history. So yeah, I'm on board with it. I'm sure a lot of people are unhappy about Ronda Rousey winning that Rumble, coming back and winning it, but just like people are unhappy with the DQ, to me it makes sense. And a big criticism I've had of WWE over several years now, like, I don't even know when this really began to be apparent to me, is just how much stuff they did that just didn't make sense, or there's not any long-term story behind it, or blah blah blah. There's some long-term stuff going on at the moment. Reigns and Rollins are the feud that technically has been going for years, on again, off again. Ronda and Charlotte and Becky is 3 years old now. It's nice, honestly, to see this kind of thing happening. Up next was a WWE 2K22 trailer. I put some exclusive info or like a reveal or something would have been nice here. Like just something that we hadn't seen before instead of just playing the trailer. Would have been cool to put something exclusive on the Royal Rumble show. Would have been pretty nice. Then there was a look how great we are Titus O'Neil video. They did some charity stuff or whatever. Be a Star, I think it was. Some more garbage that I skipped. Like, do the good thing, WWE, without insisting on spending like. I mean, one of the good things about not watching this live was I got to skip through all this. But do the good thing and let someone else report on it. Because when you report on it, you're just patting yourself on the back, and it just seems like that's the only reason you've done it. And it probably is, let's be honest. But you're letting us know it's the only reason you've done it. Whatever. Anyway, Raw Women's Championship match next. The Doudrop challenging the champion Becky Lynch. My prediction was Lynch to retain. Surely I put, like, starting to doubt I knew anything about wrestling at this point, because this has been a bit of a wild opening to the show in terms of predictions. I don't have a lot to say about this match. The fans were distracted by something happening behind the commentary desk in the audience. I don't know what. I know Becky made reference to setting a sign on fire at some point over in that direction. I think she got sick of the fans and just started mouthing off because her character allows for that. I put the match was fairly mediocre. I wasn't captivated by anything about it. It was like standard David versus Goliath, except you weren't really rooting for David or Goliath. Like, you know, it's heel versus heel, David versus Goliath formula, just strange. Becky started doing this. She did it against Liv Morgan, and she's done it against Doudrop, where they kick out of a move that's not even a finisher, and she's like overselling the kick out like it's the most tragic thing that's ever happened to her, and she's in like full blown panic attack, and someone needs to get her a paper bag quick. Like, and that needs doing once, and it was done several times against Liv Morgan and been done a couple of times in this match. I think like it's lost its impact for me already because she's overacting that moment so much. The big story of the match, if you want to call it that, was that she couldn't hit the manhandle slam because, you know, dude, that was big, you know. But she hit it off the middle rope in the end and got the 3. I put the match felt super long and boring. I don't know how long the match was, but it felt really long. I wasn't into it at all. I think this was one of the worst Becky Lynch matches I've seen since she became the man. And Doudrop, I've not seen a lot of Piper Niven before WWE, but I was told she's amazing, you'll love her. I think she got overhyped for me, and she's just never lived up to it. But this was nowhere near the best I've seen of her since I've been watching, like since I've been aware of her. This just was not the match for me, clearly. Next, I'm 1 from 3, finally. I got a prediction right. Fairly obvious one. Next, they announced 44,390 attendance. These announcements confuse me. Like, I get why they do it on TV to let everyone know, wow, we're a big deal. Look how many people have come to watch us. I don't get why they announce it to the fans. Like, every time I've been in attendance and they've announced, like, the attendance at the WrestleMania, I've just been like, so what? I don't care how many other people made this decision. Just make me enjoy the show. I think I'm just too cynical. I think I'm just like Stan in that episode of South Park where everything's just... But, whatever. The video... Here's something I'm not going to poo on. The video package for Lashley and Lesnar was amazing. I thought it was really good, going really in-depth, like, into the making of both men. You know, like, going all the way back to the NCAA stuff with Lesnar and Lashley's amateur background and both the MMA backgrounds, and drawing those comparisons. I thought the video package was really good. I put it's probably longer than the match will be, but because it was quite a long video package, but it was real. I thought it was really good. I thought it was fascinating. Like, and they weren't kayfabing a lot of it either. They, you know, like, sure, they left out the bit where Brock left and got booed out the building at WrestleMania 20, but that's minor details. The overall story arcs were fairly unedited. I'm amazed they didn't mention Lashley's run in Impact, to be honest, with the little deal with Impact, like, because that's where Lashley found himself in terms of as a wrestler, as a main event threat. So they could have thrown that in, but other than that, it was pretty much spot on for me. And then obviously the match was next, so Lashley challenging Lesnar for the WWE title. Prediction: Lesnar wins, surely. This will be a short title reign, question mark. And then I put in caps, big meaty men slapping meat, because Big E must have been loving this, and to be honest, so was I. This was really fun. This was just, you know, hoss fight, German suplex, you know, penis measuring contests where they kept getting up from each other's Germans and seeing how many times they could throw each other about and stuff. Then Brock eventually got like the actual upper hand, and then the ref took a bump. And I thought, I wasn't expecting a ref bump in this match. I was expecting this to be fairly straightforward, like just two men, clash, one stays down. You know, like that was all I was expecting. And then Brock got the visual pin off of F5, and I actually wrote, are they going to have Lashley win? Question mark, question mark, question mark. 3 question marks. That's how surprised I was by this. And then Reigns speared Lesnar. And I was like, whoa, hang on, what? Then he had a stare down with Heyman, and then held his hand out, and Heyman gave Reigns the WWE title. And I put, holy cow, Lashley won. Yeah, Reigns hit Lesnar with the WWE title. And I can't remember, did Lashley even bother hitting another spear, or did Lesnar just stay down? I can't remember, but as Reigns was leaving, another referee came down and counted the pin. I know that much. I think it was just from the title shot, to be honest. Lashley won. I'm 1 from 4 on predictions, and I actually put a little :O shocked emoji in my predictions notes there, because I did not see Lashley winning that. Like, fair play if you predicted Lashley to win that. Like, I did not see that coming. I did actually see someone on Twitter today. I actually saw someone who called Reigns costing Lesnar the title, and then Lesnar ends. Well, okay, you know what? Spoiler alert for a review show for a show that I've talked about 3/4 of it already. 2/3 of it, whatever. But then they called Lesnar entering the Rumble and winning, and I was like, oh my god, you're like an actual like psychic, because I checked the tweet was definitely sent before the Rumble happened, so I was like, oh my god, like that's genuinely impressive that you saw that coming. Or maybe I'm just dumb, maybe my prediction game is not on point at the moment. Anywho, next match was Miz and Maurice against Edge and Beth Phoenix. I thought it was going to be the Rumble, I forgot this was happening, to be honest. I predicted Edge and Beth to win. I was deliberating over it a bit, because I was like, Edge just beat Miz 1-on-1, could they do like a wonky finish where Beth takes the pin, because like, you know, they do something like I could almost see them doing like a skull crushing finale to Beth to get so much heat on Miz, like, you know, because it's so rare they do male on female. But Beth's taken an RKO before, hasn't she? And Nia Jax has in the men's Rumble that time she entered, so they will do it occasionally, especially when it's supposed to be like a despicable heel. So I thought, could they do it? But I went with Edge and Beth. Anyway, so they started with the women in the match, then Maurice ran away a bit and then tagged Miz in. She did some lame slaps to Edge, like, it looked awful. She like ran up to him, he was like leaned over the bottom rope, like Miz had just been choking him on it, and she jumped down off the apron, ran over, and like full on sprinted at him, and then stopped and did like the gentlest little slap you ever seen. It's Edge. Edge is old school, he can take it, just knock his jaw off, like make it look good. Like, he'll be fine with it. He's not going to be angry when they get backstage. He'll be like, good slap, you know, good job, you dislocated my jaw, that was a good one, you know. Then came the hot tag to the women. I put hot in inverted commas though, because like, did anyone really want to see ring rust laden Maurice against get manhandled by Beth, yes, but as a match, no, you know. Anyway, Miz broke up a pin where Beth was pinning Maurice, and then Beth like confronted Miz, like, and then beat him up, and then Maurice hit Beth in the back with a purse which has had a brick in it historically on Raw, so Beth went down like a sack of bricks, and I was like, really? And it was like, I really should have predicted the dodgy finish on Beth taking the pin, but no, Beth kicked out from being hit in the head with a brick, so realism. Then Beth sort of fought back into it. She powerbombed Miz, and the powerbomb was way better than Edge's top rope elbow drop that he followed it up with. Like, you know, like some people hit like a really nice top rope elbow drop, like Macho Man or Shawn Michaels, you know, really nice top rope elbow drops. Edge just looked like he fell off the top rope and happened to land close enough next to the Miz to stick his arm out and elbow him. It just didn't look good. It's not really part of his repertoire that I can remember either, so I'm not sure why he decided to bust that out. Could have just done a splash or something, couldn't he? Like, I don't know. Anyway, maybe he thought he could do a top rope elbow drop, because how hard can it be? And found out at the Royal Rumble that he doesn't know how to do one. Anywho, so Maurice pulled Beth down from like the apron. I think maybe Edge was going for a tag or something. I can't remember. But then she grabbed Edge's leg to prevent a spear. And then Edge ended up like shaking her off and then going for another spear, and Miz jumped it. Then Maurice ended up on the top rope and did a top rope Hurricane Rana, which honestly looked like she smacked her head off the floor. It didn't look great, but still, kudos to her for trying that. You know, she's been out of the ring and not active for how many years? Like, it takes some guts to just even try that, honestly. She hit a DDT to Beth, and then Miz hit a skull crushing finale on Edge, but only got a 2. Then they went for like a double skull crushing finale, which took about 3 years setting up. But then Beth came running in and speared Maurice, which is why it took 3 years setting up, because Beth probably wasn't in position, to be honest. But then Edge and Beth hit a double spear on Miz. Then they hit a double glam slam, as in Beth hit one on Maurice and Edge hit one on Miz side by side. And then Edge pinned Miz with the glam slam. So my prediction was right. And I thought it was pretty good considering the participants' rust. Because you've got like Miz, who is super underrated bell to bell, honestly. Like, I really like the Miz. Like, he's not flash, but he's very good. You know, like, he's very solid. Edge is obviously great, but doesn't wrestle quite the same schedule these days, and is quite a bit older than he was in his heyday, but still really good, so can't grumble at that. But then you've got Maurice, who's not been in the ring for however long in terms of a full match, and Beth, ditto. But they more than held up their end of the bargain. Like, it wasn't like an amazing match, but it was pretty damn good considering. Like, I enjoyed it. And I got my second prediction of the night, so I was 2 from 5. Then there was a Sasha Banks hype package for some reason in the middle of a pay-per-view for someone who's just appeared on the show. It's not even like it's a comeback hype package. She was already back. 7-time champion, apparently. I didn't know Sasha Banks had won 7 singles titles. Singles women's titles. Then they honoured is it the Medal of Honor, that highest military rank, medal, like highest military honour in the American Army, I think it is. Was his name Flo Groberg or something? Something along those lines. They honoured him, he was in the crowd. Like, fair play, like, threw himself at a suicide bomber or something in Afghan. Like, fair play. Like, good lad. Like, Jesus. Like, I'd rather no one was put in that situation, but Jesus, like, once you're in that situation, you save those lives and whatever, like, incredible stuff. But, moving on to the main event, the Men's Royal Rumble match. AJ entered first, did a Shawn Michaels pose during the entrance, which I thought was weird. You know, the step to the side and bend one knee and then flex both arms. Like, that's a Shawn Michaels staple. Is AJ calling out Michaels for a WrestleMania match? That'd be fun. It's probably not going to happen, but that'd be fun, wouldn't it? And then I realised I'd not made a prediction, and I put literally no idea. Kevin Owens. I did not believe for a second Kevin Owens was going to win, but he was just like the first name that came to mind. So I was like, okay, let's go with it. Shinsuke was number 2. They still know what we want. They just choose not to give it us a lot of the time. But I'm being unfair. 2022 has been pretty good so far for WWE. Like, I keep saying this, so I shouldn't really slate them too much. But yeah, they know what we want because they give us AJ versus Shinsuke for the opening 2 to get that pop. They know people are going to pop for that because they know people want it. And want it done right this time, not the way they did it last time. I love Pat's stupid dancing for Nakamura's entrance. It's great. I found it crazy when they mentioned Nakamura once won the Rumble. I was like, wow, he's not treated like a former Rumble winner at all. Number 3 was Austin Theory with his phone, so I thought he's going to be getting selfies with everyone. There wasn't a lot of selfieing, actually, in the match. I've just remembered now, looking back. Then Robert Roode comes out to the rubbish Roode and Ziggler tag team music. Bring back Glorious. Like, just have them have separate music, because both of their musics were great. Here to Show the World and Glorious, great songs, you know, like, just bring them back. They did a Rude versus Styles stare down, and the fans started chanting TNA, and Rude even, like, nodded his head and smiled at the fans and went, yeah! Like, what a guy. Like, yeah, but again, giving the hardcore fans, like, a little bit of a reference, and then Styles eliminated Rude. Like, yeah. I don't think Rude would... If the Royal Rumble was a TNA invention, I don't think Bobby Roode would have gone out that soon. Like... It was really quick. It was before number 5 came out. He was number 4. Number 5 was Ridge Holland wearing Sheamus' old face mask because he's broke his nose now. You know, which is obviously the rite of passage to being Sheamus' friend. And then Styles eliminated Nakamura, which I thought was way too quick and quite surprising, actually. I thought those two were going to go a while. Like, I'd have thought they'd have both got into like the teens to 20s in terms of entrance getting in before the first one went, probably Nakamura, but still. Montez Ford was number 6. He tried to eliminate Styles pretty much immediately, then tried to eliminate Austin Theory, no one got eliminated. Damian Priest was 7. I wrote here, I sort of wish singles champions wouldn't enter the Rumble. Feels very much like... So I know the main event of WrestleMania, blah blah blah, biggest thing, you know, fighting for the world title in the main event of WrestleMania. Feels like it takes away from the title they do own though. Like, I feel like once you've got a title, that should be your pride and joy. You should be like, I don't need to enter the Rumble, I want to defend my title on that show, please. Like, I'm a fighting champion, give me a challenger. You know, I think that's that would be a better way to deal with the singles champions. I don't know why I didn't think of this. I think because I just always forget that Nakamura's IC champion, like, at all. It is Nakamura, right? I don't even know who the IC champion is. That's how much that title is. Like, at least we know who the US champion is, and it's regularly featured and defended. Number 8 was Sami Zayn, and I put Knoxville soon, I guess. Number 9, there he is. And I put, I've got no time for this at all. I'll be honest, this went better than I thought it was going to. Knoxville took down Sami Zayn and like pummeled him a bit. And then AJ Styles, Montez Ford, Ridge Holland, and Sami Zayn all beat up Knoxville. Well, Ridge Holland didn't do a whole lot, actually. He just put him on the apron, and then Sami Zayn Helluva kicked him off and eliminated him. I thought this was nice, the faces and the heels all just teaming up like, we are wrestlers, you are not. It was a fun... It was about as good as this could have gone. It was a good moment. And then AJ Styles eliminated Sami Zayn while he was talking to Ashton Johnny Knoxville. So Sami Zayn still just... Oh my god, his conspiracy gimmick is so right. Yeah, just so mistreated, but he's good at it and he's entertaining, so I can't even grumble too much because it is entertaining. Angelo Dawkins out next. Michael Cole asked the question, is this good news for Montez Ford or bad news? And I put the quote, I attributed the quote to Michael Cole, idiot. Because obviously it's good news your tag partner being in. Like, you can just fight for it as the final two. Like, if you team up that long and get rid of everyone, like, it's your long-time tag partner. There's no animosity between you. There's no backstab coming. Like, it's great news having a friend in a match like the Royal Rumble. Like, come on. Although, to be fair, I did notice, I didn't actually write this down, but I did notice that Ford was, like, getting eliminated on one side of the ring. And Angelo Dawkins was, like, beating someone up on the other side. Walked across the ring, could clearly see Ford within his field of vision. But his scheduled spot was to fight someone else, so he didn't help his tag partner, who could have been eliminated there at all. And I was like, just details. Little details, come on. Anyway, number 11. Omos, here comes the gang up on the giant moment, I put. The only person not waiting for Omos was AJ Styles, who was still beating someone up in the corner. I can't remember who it was. But, like, his music's hit. AJ hates this guy. Everyone's stopped and he's staring at the entrance, like, and looking at each other like, we need to get this guy, we need to get this guy. AJ Styles just beating someone up in the corner, like, I don't care. Like, I'm over it. I'm over that feud. Anyway, Omos eliminated both Street Profits. Dawkins first, then Ford. Then number 12 was Ricochet, and I put that new guy momentum didn't last long. You know, they come into the ring and they run riot, don't they? You know, and take down loads of people. Ricochet hit like a springboard, something, drop kick I think, on Omos, and then tried to springboard again and just bounced off Omos, or just eat him out of the air, or he chokeslammed him or something. I can't remember what he did, but he just cleaned him out. I was like, I didn't last long. He got one move in, but. A bit later, Omos chopped Ricochet, like the overhand chop that the Giants do, down onto someone's chest. And Ricochet, I wrote, sold Omos' chop like he was dead. He crumbled into the mat. It was a really good sell, actually. Up next was Chad Gable wearing his Raw Tag title, which just looked weird to me. Not many people wear their titles coming to the ring. I guess he's just being a bit of a nerd, which is fine. Then Gable's actually the one who gathers everyone up and gets them to go after Omos. He sends Damian Priest in first. He's like, you're the biggest of us. You go after him. And Priest put in a good showing and then got eliminated. So, you know, kind of both guys looked alright from that. You know, it made Omos look, oh my god, look how easily he got rid of Damian Priest. But Priest put up a good fight first. So he didn't look like an absolute chump. You know, it was pretty good. And then Gable, Ricochet, Theory, Styles, Holland, they all like ganged up on Omos and had him up against the ropes, pointing at the entrance ramp, like all trying to tip him over. Then number 14, Dominic Mysterio comes out, and instead of just like grabbing Omos' arm or something and dragging him out from the outside, because he was on the right side of the ring, he goes round the ring, slides in and helps them push him out from the inside, which just seemed weird, but it worked. Styles got the final hit on Omos, the final push if you like, to get the elimination, but I think probably everyone involved should be credited with that one. Number 15, Happy Corbin. Ricochet tried a springboard and got eliminated by Corbin. I genuinely can't remember that spot. I wrote it down, but I don't remember exactly how that played out. Number 16, Dolph Ziggler. In his 15th Rumble, they said. I'm wearing a Ziggler shirt today, by the way. You would know that if you followed me on Instagram, at WWE EBEZA. Second only to Kane in terms of most Rumbles. But then Michael Cole was like, he's eliminated 12 people. And I was like, Kane eliminated 11 in one Rumble. Like, Roman Reigns eliminated 12 in one Rumble, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's pathetic in 15 Rumbles. To average less than 1 elimination per Rumble is really bad. I would not have thrown that statistic out there to make him sound good. Anyway, Happy Corbin eliminated Dominic Mysterio after a deep 6, just picked him up and threw him out straight up. And then AJ Styles had Austin Theory on the apron and hit an enziguri and eliminated him. Number 17, Sheamus came in just in time to see AJ Styles eliminate Ridge Holland right in front of him. Like, Sheamus even like lunged forward to try and catch his friend and he just fell. Number 18, Rick Boogs. I just don't really care for Rick Boogs. I think he's really good what he does in ring. I just don't like the character. And I think I'm the only person, but that's fine. There was a funny moment where someone on commentary, I think it was Pat McAfee, was like, he just curled at Chad Gable, and I just thought it was brilliant that at Chad Gable, because he legit did as well. He like curled his arm up, like a single arm bicep curl on Chad Gable. It was ridiculous. And then he was one hand gorilla press, like bench pressing him, like, oh no, it's not a bench press, but you know, like the vertical version of that, over and over again, and then just threw him over the top rope. But the camera cut away, so well done, Kevin Dunn. But we got to see it on a replay, I guess. Madcap Moss, number 19. I don't really care for this guy either. I think they both got such good potential, Rick Boogs and Madcap Moss, and I just don't care about them in the current iterations. And I wish they'd have a prompt gimmick change to make me like them more. But I think they're both doing their job pretty well. I think I'm just the only guy who dislikes Madcap Moss in the wrong way. Like, he's got the wrong sort of heat with me, but I think he's got the right sort of heat with most people. And Rick Boogs, I just don't care for when most people seem to love him. So, I think it's just me. Anyway, Madcap Moss got to eliminate AJ Styles after Corbin hit him with a chokeslam backbreaker. I think he might just have grabbed him and chucked him, or did he clothesline him? I don't remember. But anyway, big elimination for Moss, getting rid of Styles. Number 20, Riddle. While Riddle was coming down and getting into the ring, Boogs got eliminated. Moss threw him onto the apron, and then Corbin eliminated him. And then Drew McIntyre, number 21, and I wrote "man" in all caps, because what a man. He eliminated Madcap Moss, then Happy Corbin, and then I knew I liked Drew. And then he went outside the ring and started beating them up with steel stairs and stuff. That was fun. Then Kevin Owens comes down, number 22, and Owens and McIntyre start brawling like on the entrance ramp, which was fun. And I put, they need to just let Owens fight more. Like, he's great at all the comedic stuff and all the character stuff, but he'd be like such a credible main event threat as just like a fighting heel. You know, just a heel that wants to fight a lot. You know, like, it just his face character, but as a heel, basically, would be my ideal Kevin Owens. He does such good things. He's such a clever wrestler. Like, he puts such clever spots into his matches. Like, he's one of the only people that's ever done this. Like, I know other people have done it, but he's one of the few. He stomps on Riddle's feet. Well, he stomped on his foot. He stomped on one, because obviously he wrestles barefoot. Did it twice. Like, yeah, do that. The guy's asking for it by wrestling barefoot. Just stomp on his toes. Like, he's vulnerable. Do it. Number 23, Rey Mysterio did some flying stuff and then got stunned by Owens. That was my actual notes on that. Kofi Kingston came in number 24 and went up to the top rope and got pushed off, I think, by Owens, and botched his little save himself moment in the Rumble. He was supposed to catch himself on the ringside barrier, and then God knows what he was supposed to do. But I'm pretty sure Kofi's feet hit the floor. And yeah, they actually showed a replay, because I think they realised how obvious it was, and just decided to eliminate him instead. I feel like that wasn't intentional. I feel like that was an actual failed spot, because he probably broke some ribs, but he probably did crack some ribs, because he hit the top of that barricade really hard with his ribs, with his sternum, with his torso. I can't have been how that was supposed to go, but yeah, it felt like maybe it was just a bit over ambitious, because he was going, I think, off the top turnbuckle all the way to try and catch himself on the ringside barricade. Like, off the apron is one thing to, like, you know, do a little parkour grab where you stick your feet on it and grab the top of it. Like, that's one thing, but off the top rope, that's a lot of vertical momentum coming down, as well as the horizontal momentum to catch yourself. So yeah, anyway, Kofi ballsed up his Kofi spot. Number 25, Otis. Number 26. Like, there's nothing to report. Otis came in and was large. Like, number 26, Big E. Probably missed the New Day reunion moment. Like, they were probably supposed to still have Kofi in the match at this point. But, you know, he bottled up his spot, so there he isn't. Then I put, I hope Big E wins, forgot about him when predicting. Yeah, I would have liked to have changed my prediction to Big E. I didn't really believe he was going to win, though. I just hoped he would, to stay in that main event scene. I think he deserves it. Number 27 was Bad Bunny, and I put a load of rolly eye emojis, and then I actually put, he's not that bad actually, he's not terrible to be fair. He hit a nice destroyer on Riddle, he low-bridged Sheamus out, so he eliminated Sheamus, he threw Ziggler at the ropes and Rey low-bridged him, so 2 eliminations I guess he gets credited with. Then number 28, Shane McMahon. Pretty fun moment, pretty big pop. And Rey Mysterio got eliminated while they were watching Shane McMahon's entrance by Otis, I believe. Shane's entrance and music is the most exciting thing about Shane. He got into the ring and started doing lame punches, these little rabbit punches he does to everyone, and got the better of Riddle in a fist fight. Riddle, the mixed martial artist who dresses, as much as he's a goofy guy, still dresses like a mixed martial artist. His attire still looks like an MMA guy. He's still legit. And Shane McMahon just beats him in a punch-off, like, okay. And then Shane McMahon eliminated Kevin Owens, and I'm just like, ugh, I knew I hated Shane. Like, just everything after the entrance, I hated. Randy Orton, number 29. I totally forgot he was a hometown boy until I heard the reaction. I was like, oh yeah. So he RKO'd Big E, and then him and Lidl. No, he's not the supermarket. Orton and Riddle eliminated Big E. Then he RKO'd Otis, and then Riddle hit a cool step-up RKO. Kind of like, imagine how the Hardy Boys used to do that. What was it called? Poetry in Motion, where they run off, Jeff ran off Matt's back and then hit the opponent in the corner. Well, Riddle did that to someone who was down. I think it might have been Otis, I'm not sure. And hit an RKO on Drew McIntyre, like, from out of the air, which was pretty fun. Then Orton eliminated Otis, and then he tried to get Bad Bunny, but Bad Bunny was just like cuddling the bottom rope, like clinging onto it with both legs and arms, which was pretty funny. And the commentary were really selling Bad Bunny gets this. Like, yeah, why does Bad Bunny get this, but the actual wrestlers do stupid things like eliminate your sister when Ronda Rousey's right there? Like, you know, just come on, give everyone some intelligence. Like, you don't have to make everyone's intelligence negative numbers just to make the smart ones stand out. Smart ones can still stand out above the ones with just an average IQ. Like, you know. Anyway, number 30. Brock Lesnar. Question mark, exclamation mark. I did not see this coming. Riddle's face was a picture, because Riddle's wanted to fight Brock Lesnar for so long, hasn't he? Riddle looked genuinely excited, which I thought was brilliant. Like, everyone else was like, oh my god, and Riddle was just like, big, cheesy grin. It was great. Anyway, so Orton, Riddle, and Shane all prepared for Brock, and then all got wiped out in seconds. Lesnar clotheslined Orton over the top rope, gone. Bad Bunny squared up to Brock Lesnar, F5, gone. Riddle threw himself at Lesnar. Lesnar caught him and just tipped him out of the ring. Like, it was so undignified. You could tell Lesnar had no interest in fighting Riddle, just gone. Like, it just turfed him. Like, it wasn't even a move. He just launched him. Then he clotheslined Shane out, and then we get to the final two, which is Lesnar versus Drew. And at this point, I mean, at the entrance point, I knew, but at this point, I knew Lesnar was winning this. Like, Drew's had his Rumble win. He's probably not a 2-time Rumble winner. If he is, there's going to be a bit of a gap between them, I would think. I put no Ricochet penis kick this time. Like, there's nothing to help you this time, Drew. So, Brock, the end sequence of this whole thing from Lesnar entering was really quick, but this finale was super quick. It basically went, Lesnar went for an F5, Drew landed on his feet, headbutted him, Glasgow kiss, went for the Claymore, Lesnar dodged it, and F5'd him over the top rope and won. And that was it. And I put, I want to hate it, but I don't. And I put, it's kind of needless though, which I do stand by. You can get to Reigns Lesnar without Lesnar winning that Rumble. Like, 100%. Like, Big E can win the Rumble and be like, hey Bobby, I took it from you once, I'm going to take it from you again. And then that leaves Reigns free, and voila, Brock Lesnar shows up. I get it was kind of fun that Lesnar was like, okay, I'm annoyed about this. How can I get back to Reigns or back to my title? Because he's still not announced he's going after Reigns, but he obviously is. But how can I get back into a title picture as quickly as possible? Rumble. You know, like, I get that. That's fun. But I do think it was a bit needless. But I don't hate it. It all made sense. This is the unpopular opinion I'm going to have on this video. The whole show made sense. I don't hate any of it because it made sense. Reigns losing it against Rollins was being built to, and gives them a chance for a rematch to tide us over to Mania. Good decision as far as I'm concerned. Ronda winning the Women's Rumble and having the choice of Becky and Charlotte is poetic, like, honestly. Like, lining it up that well. I don't know how far in advance they've lined that up, or if they just got lucky that it lines up that well, but very good. Becky beats Doudrop, obviously. Reigns costing Lesnar the title match and Heyman going back to Reigns. Brilliant. Like, I love it because Heyman's so much better as a heel and Lesnar's doing great on his own as a face. He doesn't need Heyman at the moment. He's holding his own on the mic and personality stuff brilliantly. He's let loose and he's fantastic. Makes sense. Go with it. Like, I love it. What happened then? Oh, Edge and Beth beating Miz and Maurice. Makes sense. Maurice is the most rusty and Edge and Beth are both Hall of Famers. It's fine. Makes sense. It's fine. Men's Rumble. Lesnar. I don't know how whose spot Lesnar took. That'd be interesting. I sort of thought they might have been better off having someone come out at number 13 and Brock just wipes them out and takes the spot. Which, okay, is kind of heelish, but Lesnar's just Lesnar. He's above the face heel thing, let's be honest. I know he is a face, definitely, at the moment, but he's above that. He can just do what he wants. But yeah, other than that tiny detail of whose spot did he take, he can't have been pre-announced for it. He was the champion going in. Other than that one little detail, it was really well done and made sense. And made sense for him to use that path to get back to the title. Yeah, good show. Good month for WWE, honestly. Honestly, we've got Raw tonight. Technically, it'll be February when that happens over here, so I'm drawing a line under this and using, what is it, Boyle calls it, fish and chips time, to say January 2022 was a good month for WWE. All 3 shows. Like, all 3 weekly shows, I mean, and both pay-per-views. Good stuff. Great stuff. Argue with me all you like in the comments. I will defend my stance. I will listen to your point of view, etc, etc. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. If you've lasted this long, then kudos. Please do leave a comment to let me know, because this has been a long review. But the Rumble, I like to run through the matches, you know, because there's a lot of minutiae in Rumble matches, you know, like little square-offs that are a reference back to things and stuff, so I think it's fun to break them down. Subscribe if you're new here. I usually do predictions videos, I do reviews, I do wrestling gaming stuff, I do like watch-alongs, I do all sorts of wrestling related stuff, so drop a sub, it'd be greatly appreciated. There's a Q&A. There's a Q&A at the moment, wrestling related. I'm going to extend it. I'm going to do a video extending the thing, because I've not promoted it and I've not really had any questions. So yeah, check out the Q&A. Ask me anything in the comment section of the Q&A, wrestling related. If you want a non-wrestling related question, you have to have asked a wrestling related question to do a non-wrestling related question. I want at least half the questions to be wrestling related, basically. But yeah, that's all I have left to plug, and all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been EBEZA, you've been amazing, and I will see you next time.